I'm Megan Scheidler. I'm the artistic director.
And I'm Brian Carroll, illustrator and designer.
So we're here to talk about the design.
Let's talk about this.
All right.
Earlier I told my story from my point of view, how it was at the beta test night, and then we started talking because we broke your game.
Yeah.
How do you?
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night and how we kind of came together and became a team?
Yes. Okay. So at the beta test night, a lot of the art had already. Well, we had a pretty solid game. And I had pulled a lot of images from different sources. They weren't finalized yet. It was very much licensed images. And so we were going to have to pay licensing on all the different things in the game. Nothing was original yet to the game. And so then Brian and I were talking, and he's like, you know, what could make this awesome?
Oh, you know what, too? I'm remembering this right now. I had drawn the character I was.
Oh, that's right.
I had drawn the character that I was playing, that I happened to play, in like my kind of interpretation of it, because I had grown so attached to the stowaway and gotten to the character of it. So I drew it, and it was with a speech bubble.
Yes.
And you're like, yep, that's it.
I was like, oh man, can't you just do all the other ones?
It was love at first sight.
It was so cute. Well, we'll actually maybe have it hovering right here.
Hovering.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We'll find the picture. So Brian was sketching as he was playing, and I saw this adorable, really cool sketch of the stowaway, and it was like, oh, can we just do the whole game?
And then we took off. So how was this is going to be a loaded question I'm about to ask.
Oh gosh, yes.
How was working with me?
Oh,
with your art direction and me coming in, just kicking the door in, this is what I wanted.
It was great because, part of it was because I was basically curating from different materials. You came in and had a very same style. I don't know if that makes sense, but consistent style throughout.
That's the better term.
It was a very same.
It's like you came in with your same old art, and I was like, I guess so.
No. You created this consistent style that was very. Well, we talked about it being very woodcut.
Yeah, because you had, at this point, with the beta test night and everything, you had already created basically what the look of the game is.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
The thing, but the icons, the character designs didn't really match what you had already designed for the overall look of the game.
Yeah, it was a little hodgepodge at that time.
But I'm coming in, and this is wonderful because usually, as an illustrator, you have clients who are like, I will know what I want, but I know when it's wrong.
Yeah. And I knew exactly what I wanted.
Right. And so I kind of pitched this style that I thought was really cool. But it was inspired by and based on the work that you had already done.
Yeah.
You had already kind of laid out, the way, the different hierarchy of colors, all that kind of stuff.
The colors are the same from the beginning.
Yeah, but even the different tans, because you have 3 different tans in it. You have the box is a crate and the thing, and there was a canon of design that you had already created. I was designing to that, hoping I was right. And then I guess
you
were. And so, and that kind of
Brian would send me something, I'd be like, perfect. It's good. Move on. Next.
Yeah. It was good because
and he works so fast. It's just like.
Yeah. So I love, just to get into some of the process. So I love vector artwork. I love, but we wanted to, it was going to be a treasure map kind of thing. It was going to be the island kind of thing. But we didn't want it to just be here's a moldy old map, from 1840 or whatever, whenever you guys put it takes place in. But,
1850.
Something like that. So, we had created, this, we wanted it to still have notes of that old treasure map style, but we needed to make it modern because we're selling it, not to antebellum, people of the world in the 1850s. So we.
So it still has that old world feel, but it's elevated to being a little modern edge.
Yeah, it's a modern crooked woodcut style for the iconography, for the boats and the maps and the thing, and it's all very it's all very same.
And then with the characters, well, originally the characters were only 3-color or 2-color characters, and then you brought in...
Yeah, it was like black, white, and then the accent color.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so then you brought in more color, and it was like, oh, this is what it needs to be. It looked so good. And
I got myself in trouble for that because I don't usually, as an illustrator, as a cartoonist, in my cartooning side of my illustration side, I don't do a lot of full color illustration. So I pitched you several different looks. Mm-hmm. One was like kind of the still black, white color accent, and then one was like a full color. And I'm like, this? And you were like, yeah. I'm like, oh no, I got to do 14 other characters.
I'm so sorry. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do more.
but even that was too, because like I started to draw just kind of like a painterly style, for the things, and you were like, did you forget the style that we created for this game? It's like it's crooked. I was
really mean about it. Yeah. I was like,
it's crooked and detailed and chiseled, and it's got more edge, more sharp lines,
and then adding in a lot of that rough texture. Right,
yeah. Very textured, very sharp lines. And so I was like, gotta go back and do those things. But it was good. It was like, I'm downplaying it. But it was
really...
it was a great process, I felt, to kind of get the art to where it needed to be, regardless of designing it in a pandemic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a blast.
And with the characters, they were very simple for the beta test night. And then one of the people that came to the beta test night, she's actually a cosplayer. And so she was talking to me about, or all of us, about how like, these characters are great, but, I want something that I want to cosplay as. I want something that has more unique characteristics, or, a costume piece that, I can latch onto. And so then that kind of really developed with the character, helped with the character development. And so like I sent over to Brian a bunch of like, here's the style board for this character, and this is the style board for that character.
It kind of looked like what's kind of behind us.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful to have, just like having another artist be your supervisor for this. It was nice because everything that I got was like, presented in a way that just made whatever the note was obvious.
I'm glad.
I'd have to bang my head against the table and be like, well, what does the scout look like? It was laid out. It was like a menu.
Yeah, it was like, I want this. Here's some reference images. Maybe he can look like this. Maybe, Yeah.
It was great.
So I think we work, okay together.
We work okay together.
It's fine.
We'll
keep them around.
We'll let the buyers of the game decide.
Well, we'll see.
How the artwork resonates with the general buying public.
We're really happy with it, and we think others will be too.
What is your favorite piece of art that I designed for this game? And I'll do the same to you.
Okay. Dang, there's so many. Honestly, I love the coin so much. I think it's beautiful. I think, so you'll notice on the map there is a mountain hideaway in the very center of the map, and so Brian actually designed the coin image first, and then kind of retrofitted that back, and now we have the mountain based on the coin image, and just that coin. And the different iterations of it and where it is now, it's beautiful. That's my favorite, I think.
And I'll say this, so my favorite piece of art that you've developed for this game is probably the board itself. Because it was a close second rule book. I was like, rule book or board? The board was like, because it was already laid out with like the early art, but it had all the textures, it had all the rules on it, it had the stuff that you needed to convey, it had every piece of information that ended up in it already in it, and so all I had to do really to be based on that was basically just trace in the new style, develop it a little bit here and there. But
the
this whole
spaces
time
were all the same.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they stayed the same.
This whole time I'm sending art to Megan, and she is updating the board and everything like that, but to have that real estate and the footprints already mapped out,
that was helpful.
The texture on the quadrants already mapped out, the shape of the mountain and where it fell already mapped out, where the boats are in relation to the silhouette of the island itself. All of that was already designed by Megan way before I ever came on board, and so it was just like this great, so there's very little if you set them next to each other, they look different.
Yeah.
But there's really not that much in reinvention to it. And so to get that map, I still feel like it holds the original spirit and character of the design that you were, which was one of my goals since the beginning.
Yeah, it definitely does. It feels like the same map, but just elevated to this Brian Carroll style, which I love. It's great.
Yeah, it's like a Brian. The way I think I described it, it was like it's a Megan design with a Brian skin.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, we're supposed to wrap this up.
We're getting the music.
Ooh, we haven't even talked about fonts yet.
We have not.
That could be a whole nother.
It could be.
Whole nother topic.
Yeah. Well, should we cut this now?
Yeah. Okay.
We could talk about this for hours. We're artists, and we don't see people very often. So,
yeah. We could list all the CMYK colors and talk more about those serifs and
God, I love
stuff.
it.
So
50, 28, 10, 0. CMYK, man.
Yeah. Well, another time.